Mr. Sanjay, can you hear me?
Yes, of course, sir. You're clear. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Good morning to all. On behalf of the New Tourism Foundation, by virtue of being its president, would like to again welcome our esteemed panelists, the viewers and the participants in today's webinar hosted by the New Tourism Foundation. In fact, the foundation has started a knowledge series, and in that knowledge series, we are focusing on the states in particular. As we are all aware, most of the associations, especially the national level organizations, associations, and even media publications, the industry chambers, their focus during this COVID crisis has been to take up subjects and issues related to travel and tourism at the national level with the government of India, with the industry as a whole. But we in National New Tourism Foundation, we decided that along with the national issues, we must focus on the issues at the state level as well, because we have a feeling that the real and ground level actual tourism happens only in the states. So friends, coming to the background in which we are hosting this webinar, of course, is the COVID crisis. And I must say and congratulate the entire travel and tourism fraternity that after a long wait, finally the travel and tourism in India will commence in a holistic manner in another 2 days. And therefore, it is important for the state governments, particularly the tourism departments, and the tourism industry of the state, that they are fully geared up in the new world of tourism and travel protocol, which the new normal has brought, or which the situation of COVID crisis had brought us into. Friends, I have always been advocating since the imposition of the first lockdown, and so has been the Ministry of Tourism, that domestic tourism will be the first to start when lockdown restrictions are lifted. And friends, it is proving right in the sense that the international traveling, as Mr. Sanjay has also mentioned, both inbound and outbound will certainly take some time. Even if it starts, say, sometime in July or maybe mid-July, August, it is going to be at a very slow pace, because it depends on the visa restrictions, visa policy of other countries, and also the visa policy of our own country, which will take some time. And that is why the foundation decided to focus on the domestic tourism first. Ladies and gentlemen, in rebuilding domestic tourism series, I mean, I would say within knowledge series, we are beginning a rebuilding domestic tourism series, and we are going to go to other states as well. But we have begun with Jammu and Kashmir as the first state. And the reason of selecting J&K being the first state has few reasons, with us. Firstly, after J&K has become union territory, it is directly under the guidance and support of the union government. And therefore, the central government would be in a position to pull in more funds and support to the travel and tourism sector to the J&K, because that is the mainstay of the economy of Jammu and Kashmir. Secondly, with Jammu and Kashmir opening up to rest of India in many ways, I don't want to go into the details, but tourism investments will pour in much more than before, both from the government as well as private sector. The government has always been pouring money through Swadesh Darshan and Prasad and other schemes. But the good thing is that with the opening up of J&K's economy, with the new laws, with the new lifting of old laws, the private sector would be able to make lots of investments. And that is a good sign for the entire economy of J&K, but more so for the travel and tourism sector. And thirdly, the reason has been that the tourism products and themes that Jammu and Kashmir offers, ladies and gentlemen, are more suitable to the current situation when the COVID threat is still around. I have always been saying that certain specific themes will recover and will move faster than the other, like nature tourism.
Anji, now I can hear.
So I don't know why somebody muted. I didn't do anything. So what I was telling is that Jammu and Kashmir is more suited for these kinds of themes like nature tourism, adventure tourism, eco-tourism, rural tourism, water tourism. It has plenty of them, rather the best in the country. And last reason why J&K is more suitable, when we to start with, is that J&K is still unexplored, ladies and gentlemen, by most of the domestic travelers because of many reasons. And therefore, to my mind, since domestic tourism has always been the mainstay, there's not been too much of inbound tourism from international tourists. We have been in J&K focusing more on domestic tourism. So now is the time when the growth is also going to happen for the reasons which I have already mentioned. So friends, all stakeholders of Jammu and Kashmir related to tourism and travel sector should ready themselves to rebuild domestic tourism. Why we have taken the word rebuild? You see, when you say recover, it means that you will recover back to the same stage or the same kind of description, or maybe level you will come to. When you say revival, it means that you have just revived from the onslaught. But when you talk of rebuild, it means you have to also seize new opportunities and how we can see the new opportunities and build domestic tourism further. So rebuilding is a more positive word and something which denotes that you're moving fast forward. So we must see this opportunity that we will take in today. I must say that we are fortunate to have the good ingredients of travel, from academia, and of course, domestic tourism is very much. Friends, let me also say this, I am not while being in the IAS. When I was in the election commission as deputy election commissioner, I was in charge of J&K for the Lok Sabha election in 2015 and the assembly election in 2015. And it was a pleasure working with the ministers and the state administration while I moved around the state during my district. Similarly, in 2019 also, I was sent as central observer as a part of a team by the Election Commission of India. And during my tenure as Secretary, Tourism Ministry, Government of India, friends, I had the privilege to sanction as much as 600 crores worth of projects under Swadesh Darshan. I remember in September 2016, we sanctioned on one day projects worth 600 crores, 400 crores coming from Swadesh Darshan, 100 crores for the flood damages, and 100 crores under 400 crores under the Prime Minister's PMDP package, 100 in Swadesh Darshan and 100 in the as a part of the flood relief. So I've had meetings with the advisor during the President Governor's rule, Mr. Khurshid Ganai, in the past 1 or 2 years. I also had participated in the golf conclave at the Royal Springs organized by PhD Chamber of Commerce. So friends, I am committed at a personal level as ex-Secretary Tourism, Government of India, as ex-Deputy Election Commissioner of India, to take tourism in Jammu and Kashmir to commanding heights and the heights that the J&K actually deserves. Friends, just like other states, the J&K industry also needs a lot of support from the central government, a lot of support from the state government. There's no doubt about it. In fact, Government of India has announced certain stimulus to the SMEs by moratorium on loan repayments, through deferment of taxes, by setting up a national tourism task force. But generally, the feeling is that it is not sufficient. The industry, prima facie, is still not very excited about the stimulus given by central government so far. I would certainly agree to an extent, but let me also, in this context, like to highlight before the travel fraternity of J&K as well, is that the biggest stimulus from the government to the industry is that despite COVID crisis still looming large on the country, the central government has opened the economy and also including the travel and tourism. And mind you, India has been faster than many other countries in the world in opening the travel and tourism in the entire country, and of course in J&K as well. The second inhibitor, which is a big hurdle for travel and tourism to recommence, is the fear of the people to travel. Let us not forget, if all the infrastructure has been laid, all restrictions have been removed, Even them, if there is a fear psychosis in the minds of the travelers, they will not travel, and travel and tourism will not take off. So we must acknowledge the initiative of the government for their effort to build that confidence within travelers by putting in place the required infrastructure for health safe traveling at airports, in trains, in public transport, be by issuing SOPs and guidelines for airlines, for hotels, for restaurants, for malls, for amusement parks, and for the government-owned monuments and destinations. So, thanks to these two major initiatives of the Government of India, the travel and tourism would certainly restart in India and J&K, having required health, safe, and travel infrastructure and the confidence among travelers for safe tourism. In fact, I must also say that now it is the industry's turn to dispel the fears of people by bringing in the health safety measures at every point in the chain of distribution. And we cannot afford to leave even one hole in the loop of safety. And ladies and gentlemen, although it will be worthwhile to hear our expert panelists today on specifically on J&K, because most of the expert panelists, they are all drawn from Jammu and Kashmir, and they know more than me. But I would like to raise certain points that I have in mind to rebuild domestic tourism in J&K, and then we can, after deliberations, I can still speak, during my sum up. Now, first thing is that as the domestic tourism is picking up, it will not pick up pan-India. As you know, some states have restricted, that you cannot come to our state, and even if you come to our state, you have restrictions. Even while flying, the restrictions have been placed by different states that if you come to a particular state, you will have to quarantine. Even for J&K, there are certain regulations that you will have to go for home quarantine for international travelers, for institutional quarantine. So it is the time I would like to call upon that you must begin with various kinds of domestic tourism, short haul movements, short haul destinations, local destinations, and work on intra-district, that is within the district. Number two, inter-districts, between the districts where movements can happen. Thirdly, intra-state, the entire state is available for movement of domestic tourists. It is absolutely fine. Then the next step is inter-region. You have Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, next to, and of course Delhi, of course, to close to J&K. So inter-regional domestic tourism could begin. And lastly, as things become better and better, then we begin with pan-India. It may not be possible or may not be very feasible to start domestic tourism pan-India, that people from Kerala will start coming to J&K. So we must start step by step. That is one. The second thing is about connectivity. The flights have started. I was seeing there are about 5 or 6 or 7 flights every day started to Jammu and Kashmir from Delhi. I would not like to mention about other places, but the beginning has been made. Come 8th June and things will further improve. The trains have started. The best journey or the best way of promoting domestic tourism would be road travel. And within Jammu and Kashmir, it is always better and possible to make road journeys instead of flying within J&K. So it's only that you have to reach Jammu or Kashmir, and then you can travel by road. So that is another advantage which domestic tourism will provide to the tourists, because road traveling is the most safest method at the moment, looking at the COVID crisis. The heli tourism is also one area where J&K government has done a good job, including private sector. And heli tourism moving from one place to another is also providing a lot of safety in the present COVID crisis. Thirdly, coming to the travel trade, it's time that depending on the health safety, depending on the possibility of a particular theme, new itineraries have to be made by the travel trade, by the tour operators. And accordingly, as hotels are involved, I mean, they are the first beginning and the last point of travel and tourism. So the hotels have to build that confidence among the people that whoever stays there will come out absolutely safely. So it is now time that the hotel industry of J&K, the travel trade, and the tour operators should convince and build that confidence among the travelers that we are giving you a very safe itinerary, we are giving you a very safe accommodation, and we are giving you a very safe traveling and end-to-end. Even destination management concept will become more and more prominent now, because it is time when the customers and the clients and the tourists would like to have end-to-end safety right from the time they started from home and right up to the time when they enter back to their home. So there is a need for having a destination management approach and strategy so that people don't have to rely on different segments and different agencies for their safety of traveling. Fourthly, I would like to mention that lesser known destinations, which are so many in Jammu and Kashmir, and maybe they have not been affected by COVID crisis. I can take some of the names like Daksum, Warman Valley, then Margan Top, Sintham Top, then Tosa Medan, Gurez, Mughal Road. Now, these are places which have not been visited by too many people. So this is the time when the lesser known destinations, provided they are safe and they're accessible, I think that is one more point. And of course, focus on the ecotourism, the adventure tourism, the shopping, the arts and craft, which are the main themes and main products of J&K, should be also brought into focus, and more promotion should be done both by the state, by the J&K government, by the Ministry of Tourism, and of course by the industry as well. The ministry, the Department of Tourism of J&K has also spoken, ladies and gentlemen, about formation of circuits. And I was very happy to see that they are contemplating on making Sufi circuit, Buddhist circuit, and Shiva circuit. So religious circuit wise, I would say that with 8th June coming, the government has also announced that religious tourism will start. Religious places are going to open. And as you were discussing before I started addressing, that nothing could be a better opportunity for J&K tourism to have a successful Amarnath Yatra. Maybe the numbers may be less, but it could be a good start. Of course, Vaishno Devi Ji is always been the main attraction for domestic travelers in India. So religious tourism with safety protocol would be a great idea for promoting domestic tourism. And last but not the least, since we have Mr. Danish also with us, who represents the academia, though he's a media advisor, the skilling, reskilling, retraining to the new order, especially the digitalization, the digital knowledge, technologies, artificial intelligence, virtual tours. Now, all these are going to be more significant and more important than ever before. So these are some of the areas, ladies and gentlemen, I thought I'll touch upon. But since we have experts from the state, from the Union Territory of J&K to speak in this webinar today, I would rather be a listener to their expert opinion, and thereafter, if I get a chance, I will be taking up some more points in my sum up. So thank you, Mr. Sanjay. I hand over back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Zutshi sir. You are always inspiring and encouraging to all of the stakeholders as we are here. Thank you very much.